Well, I'm ready to go. How about you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Let's do
Well,
it.
I guess let's just start off with a quick introduction. And first of all, it's been a while since I've uploaded, so sorry everybody. But I did tell everybody I'm going to upload when I have something to say or something I'm excited to talk about. So I am excited to talk to you, Mike, because I've been to your event, and it's actually the first and only type of event I've been to, like Northwest Mountain Challenge. It's the only one I've been to, and I have a very vivid and my memory sucks, but I completely remember the moment I walked into your guys' event for the first time. I walked through the lodge, out the back, and then I just heard music and just people, and there's vendors everywhere, and I'm like, this is so freaking cool. Like it was like a big party, but with everybody that likes to bow hunt and shooting bows and stuff like that. I thought it was so cool, and so that's my like excitement about what you guys do is because I got that kind of shock factor. I had no idea what to expect when I got there, and I'm like, this is so freaking cool. So, so go ahead and I guess Mike start with an introduction, and then we'll get into what exactly you guys got going on.
All right, so I'm Mike Thompson. I'm one of the partners for the Northwest Mountain Challenge, and man, I tell you, we've got some great shoots coming up this year. We got some great vendors involved again. We got Mule Deer Foundation who really stepped up this year, and we just got word that sounds like Hush is coming to Tamarack.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be really cool. So we got some big influencers coming. So no, man, we're excited. Super family friendly, and my I started with Northwest Mountain Challenge actually as a shooter.
Yeah.
I showed up kind of the same thing as you, man. Like I'd been at 3D shoots before, but again, when I came to Hoodoo, um, and I saw everything, I was just like, oh my goodness, like this
Mm-hmm.
is big. And I was like, okay, this is really cool. And at the time I was trying to help promote Thwack It Outdoors and 22 Outdoors, who are two of my other companies. And I didn't know that my path was going to take me here at the
Mm-hmm.
time. Then the next year I registered again, COVID hit. And we weren't, Northwest Mountain Challenge was about back in Oregon until 22. And when they came back, that year I helped them build the courses for Hoodoo, and I was super excited. I got to work with TJ and Hillary. Tyler was there. Dave Merrill from Bow Spider was there. I got to work with Kendall Card from Crispy Boots
Mm-hmm.
and Black Ovis, and man, I had such a good time. And I was like, you know what? I think I want to pursue more of this. So I got to talk with TJ and Hillary, and some discussions had happened, and um, last year I ran full bore with them, uh, and dude, I haven't looked back. Like they're
Mm.
super fun to work with, super easy to work with. The environment is amazing, uh, and their whole outlook on shooter first, providing an amazing event for the shooters, and at a really affordable price. I was just like, you know what? I want to be more part of this. So this year, I mean, I've been full bore with them, like nonstop, doing a lot of stuff with them. Um, and dude, I can't wait to see what the future holds for everything. So
Who do you guys have going to the Hoodoo one for influencers? Do you have like bro guys showing up or anybody like
no,
that?
we're talking to some more influencers. Before we get a yes from them, we're kind of stepping back because we don't want to say yes, somebody's coming, and then find out, oh hey, their schedule doesn't
Canceled.
line up.
Yeah.
So because that wouldn't be fair to the shooters, because there's shooters out there that you say an influencer's coming, oh dude, sign me up, I want to go meet him.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, hands down.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know what? Before we are, if we're 100%, then let's do it. Um, but until we are 100%, yes, they're coming. Let's just hold off. Um, again, we're gonna have full draw film tour again this year, but we're
Mm-hmm.
doing something a little different. we're playing 5 videos that no one has seen from Full Draw.
Oh, really?
Yes. So you're not gonna see, like, if you go to Full Draw Film Tour this year, you're not gonna come to Northwest Mountain Challenge and see those videos. We've been working with them on getting 5 different videos that they feel were just on the edge of being accepted into their line.
Really?
Yep. So, and then we have a couple other videos that getting pushed out there from Mule Deer Foundation and Hush, as what I've been told. So, that's that. We're really looking forward to that. And then I talked to TJ Mountain to Coast. They posted up a video on YouTube of their Idaho elk hunt last year, and they pushed it to TJ and I, like, hey man, would you be willing to show this to the Stevens Pass shoot? And so I sent it to TJ, and TJ's like, yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
So we're gonna be playing the video as well, because they were all about the small guy.
Right.
They need a stage 2.
Do you know? And I feel bad because I don't really follow any hunting content hardly at all anymore. I just kind of unplugged from everything. But there is some guys that I feel like are getting some good traction. They produce some content. I've had people asking me about them, and it's the PNW guys, the Pacific Northwest Wild guys, or I might be butchering their name.
Yeah, PNW. Yeah, no, they're
seems
super
like they're
good
getting
crew.
seems like they're getting a lot of traction. That might be a good candidate for you guys. And everybody I've talked to that's reached out to me about them. I don't know them from Adam,
Yeah.
but everybody seems like, oh yeah, they seem really cool and down to earth, and that's what we
Yep.
need.
Yeah.
Just regular old average Joe guys.
Another one we've thought about visiting is Stuck in the Rut. They're
Yeah,
starting to put out some really cool content, and again, just a really super down to earth group of guys. They're just there to be one of us, really.
right, right. Yeah, God, it's crazy how much influencers impact things, even like bow shoots. Like I think of influencers like on YouTube and Instagram, but I mean, even at
Yeah.
bow shoots. I mean, yeah, I think about like John Dudley and stuff. He's a pretty big draw at some of these shoots,
Oh,
and
he's a huge draw attack, because a
yeah,
lot of the guys are like, I got to shoot my bow with John Dudley.
yeah, right. Or I got
You
a
know.
tip or a bow tuning issue or whatever it may
Yeah.
be, and yeah. So when I was there, because I think I was there for I think I was there for 2 years when I did it. It was before COVID. Because I had a
18 and
booth.
19.
Yeah, I think I had a booth in 18, 19. It's hard for me to remember. But one of the things that I really liked was at the lodge, you looked up at the mountain after dark, and there was a night shoot where guys were like a lighted knock shoot. Are you guys doing that still? Because
We brought it back last year.
that is so freaking cool, and it's beautiful just to see all the lighted knocks just flying across the drainage there back and forth. It was like, man, that is so
Yeah.
freaking cool. I'm like, I was trying to get night photography of it, and I just didn't have it figured out by then. But
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that is so freaking sick. It was just watching it go on was like, dude.
Oh
First of all,
yeah.
it'd be fun to shoot in that, but that's pretty cool just to watch it from the lodge.
Yep. No, we brought that back, and we asked everybody's opinion on it, and every single person was like, this was amazing. You guys really thought this out. No one
Hmm.
felt unsafe.
Right,
Because safety's got to be key
paramount.
for that light and knock shoot.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, we had a great time. I want to say Hoodoo. We had like, I think we had like 140 lighted knock
Did you
participants.
really?
Yeah, yeah, it was cool.
That's more than a lot of my
So,
local shoots get. Just right there. I mean, they're lucky if they get
yeah,
60 or 80. It's crazy.
yeah, yeah. No, I've talked to some other club shoots, and they're the same way. They're like, man, if we hit 100, like, we're blown away.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, I used to go to all of them anymore, but I just don't have enough time to keep doing that. Like I was just grinding, trying to, you know, get as efficient and good as I could with my bow. And God, I spent a lot of time going to these shoots and stuff, and man, I could hit. Man, I was killing it back then, but I wasn't shooting the hinge. And I'm kind of curious what I could do now versus what I could do then with a hinge, because I feel like I'm more accurate. How many guys do you have showing up on the mountain shooting hinges now?
You know, there's a lot.
Hmm.
Um, Granted, we get a lot more bow hunters than comp shooters.
Yeah.
Uh, a lot of our bow hunters are still shooting the wrist release.
Yeah.
Um,
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, back when I was shooting there, we shot the Hoyt course, and the Hoyt one was actually really easy. I think it was made to be easy. Back then, it was made to be user friendly. And
it still is.
yeah,
That's
it's
our
the
family
easiest one,
friendly
right?
course. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, because everybody was just murdering that course, and then but it was really interesting because there was a couple targets on that where you could just kind of see the wear and tear on these targets. Where why is everybody hitting to the left on this target? Why? And there's a pretty good updraft going, and then it just was kind of interesting to see that what the updraft did to your arrow, and then in a
Yeah.
real world situation, where would you aim on that animal? Because clearly everybody's hitting it in the liver on this target, and that's
Yeah.
not good. So, and I
Yeah.
mean, it was like 6 or 8 inches worth of travel. I mean, it was quite a bit, and it was like a 40 or 50 yard shot, something like that. But
Yeah.
I guess what is like the best feedback that you've gotten for these real world type of shots and stuff like that? Have you had any success stories with this, or anybody contribute their success to, hey man, like your guys' shoot really prepared me? Is there any like success stories on that stuff?
We've had a lot of people reach out to us and say, hey, your courses have shown me that I thought I was in shape. I thought I was ready for this.
Right.
We've got the pure elevation course, and that one is a monster.
Right.
Like it's no joke. And there's a lot of people that come off the mountain. They're like, I work out nonstop, and that course just destroyed me.
Really?
Hmm. And I'm one of those guys. Like I'm hiking all the time. I have grain bags that are in my pack when I'm out hiking,
Hmm.
just to hike around and build my stamina up. So when my buddies gets a bull down, I feel comfortable packing that out. And I build these courses, and I'm telling you, even by the third course, it is still kicking my butt.
Really?
Oh yeah, pure elevation is no joke.
I
And
don't
so
know.
these,
I don't think I ever actually did the pure elevation one because I was always stuck in my booth. But the day I did get to go out, I'm pretty sure I didn't do the pure elevation one. I'm pretty sure if I did it, I would know. So
oh, you would know.
yeah,
You
I'm
would,
pretty sure
yeah.
I don't remember doing that one, and I've always wanted to try it because I've just heard exactly what you said. It's like, dude, it is brutal.
Oh
So
yeah. Well, and we made it even bigger.
how
You know,
so?
it used to be you'd get on the road, you'd shoot it, and you get back to the road and you just keep going up the hill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, last year we changed it up. Well, actually, first off, I gotta give credit to Dave Merrill because he had brought in Bow Spider for a year, and it was Everest by Bow Spider. But he had made this course to where, dude, you went through the buck brush and everything,
Hmm.
and you were climbing up the hill. You still came up the backside of the Cinder Butte. Like it was intense. So we kind of took that last year and we built on it. Um, and we were putting targets like way up in the rocks.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to go all the way up into the rocks to get your arrows, come back down, and you would think, oh, hey, this has got to be one of the hardest spots. No, no, we took you through. We did the same thing, man. We took you through the buckbrush. We actually had loppers out there that we were cutting trails in,
Hmm.
just enough so guys could get in and out of the buckbrush to go get their arrows. And then we went around up the backside of the Cinder Butte again. So you take a step and lose half a step. Take a step,
Oh,
lose half a step. So
yep.
what normally climbing a normal hill, you'd be like, oh, this is no problem. It's like 200 feet elevation gain. In all reality, by the time you get to the top, you're like, oh, my legs are dead.
It's like 400 or 500.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. And then you shoot around, and then you thought you got on the road and you were done, but what we did is we took you off the road down into the timber, and then you did your shots there, popped back out, and then you finished off with a really really long shot, and then you walked back down.
So
And I think last year was like 4.2 miles and 2,200 feet in elevation gain
holy
total.
crap! Yeah, that is a butt kicker.
It was a butt
2,200
kicker.
feet in elevation. Holy crap! So with some of your shots, how far are you guys reaching out there now?
Um, I think we had a shot. I think Ty put a shot up in Tamarack at 138 yards last year.
That's a freaking poke.
But that's an experts course. Okay, we're not the family friendly courses. I think our farthest shot in the two family friendly courses is like 70 yards.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And we really try in like those two courses, real world situations. Um, every shot is a hunting shot. Um, we try and keep most of our shots on pure elevation, real world, with the exception of a couple of shots where you're like, there's no way I'm taking a 138-yard shot,
Right.
but it's a lot of fun to do that. Right. It's pretty rewarding, especially when you just absolutely drill it at 138 yards.
Right. Makes sense.
You know, and those long shots, we give you a good backstop. So you're not like, oh my goodness, if I miss this, like kiss the arrow goodbye.
Right.
Um, but then, we've got, so last year it was the Vortex course. This year it's the Mule Deer Foundation course.
Yeah.
But that's another one where it's intermediate to expert. Shots are out to 95 yards. They
Perfect.
might be 3 yards. It's a lot of up and down. But it's not like, oh my goodness, like I've got to climb forever up. It's just enough for your legs to know that you've climbed up a hill. Or it's just enough for, your quads to know that, hey, I've gone down a steep hill.
Yeah.
And really we built that course just to test your overall endurance because it's 25 targets and to test your mental stability while being out there. Because how many times are we elk hunting that, man, like there's a bull screaming and he is on the move and he is hot and we're just trying to get ahead of him to take a little bit more of that temperature, and the shot is here now and I'm exhausted.
Right.
So, that's really what we built that course for, was just for you to be like, oh my goodness, like, and the shots, it might be off of some rocks. We have one shot that if you do miss, you can wave your arrow goodbye because you're never getting it back.
Yeah.
But that shot's only 42 yards last year.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like, oh man, it's a 100-yard shot, and if I miss, it's gone.
Now
If you miss in 42, you're gone.
you guys have actual competitions there that have payouts and everything, right?
We do. Our competition actually is a $10,000 payout,
Holy smokes.
collectively.
Yeah.
But we have an overall shooter. It's a legit triple crown. So we actually have individual shoot winners, and then at the end of the year, we actually have a triple crown winner.
How much does that person win?
TJ would know. I didn't hand the payouts last year. By the time that came out last year, I was back up on the mountain tearing things down.
Oh, okay.
My job is making sure that the courses are up, the courses are down, and everything on the course is running smoothly.
Okay. Yeah. I had a friend win at it's been a few years ago now, but and it's just crazy seeing the level of competition. Like guys are like upping the level every year. It's all just like It's just not plateauing. Like if you want to win, you have to do better every year. It just seems like the level of competition, as people figure out their bows better, as maybe we attract better shooters to these things, that clearly, like if you just go out and shoot your bows a couple weeks beforehand, you're not going to win. You got to be one of these guys that's shooting their bows pretty much every day for months.
Yeah, we have two guys that stand out to me is Ryan and Sean, and those guys absolutely smash it every year.
Really?
And these guys that come in, they say, "Hey, I'm a better shooter this year," but so is Ryan and so is Sean.
Right.
And dude, these guys, they're pretty well respected around here in the Northwest.
Ryan and Sean who?
Sean Vincent, and why can I not remember Ryan's last name? Tall, skinny guy, probably 6'4".
Oh, wow.
Yeah, super, super good dude. I enjoy both of them. Sean's wife actually won the all around last year. For Hoodoo, I think Sean's wife won it for Hoodoo. We had a young lady in uh she was probably 18 in the youth women's division
Mm-hmm.
who won the all around, beat all the big guys
Really?
and won the all around. She smoked. I mean, she missed the bullseye, like dead center bullseye by an inch at like 85 yards,
Holy
90 yards,
crap.
something like that. Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, it was
It's
amazing.
incredible how good people are nowadays. Like
Hmm.
insane. Like you take a mediocre shooter and then, 15 years ago, obviously technology plays a role, but 15 years ago they'd win. At some of these
Yeah.
events, just a mediocre shooter. But now you have these target archer level bow hunting guys that are just killing it. It's the same thing with long range. You know as well as I do because we live in the same area. Like these long range guys, hunters, are absolute marksmen now. Like shooting MOA out to 1,200 yards. It's like, dude, that was
Yeah.
never a thing when I was a kid. Never.
No, nope.
So,
No, I key a lot of my successful rifle shooting into my archery shooting.
hmm.
My breathing and practice and time on my trigger and everything, because I still shoot a wrist release with the trigger.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's a ball bearing trigger, but it's a trigger, and I still like just the ease of the release to making sure I have the most accurate shot possible. And now, I mean, I'm shooting my 6.5 Creedmoor at like dead on accuracy, 600 yards, and I've hit easy 1,000-yard shots, dead on accuracy. We have one of the guys on my actual hunting team. He's an extreme long range shooter.
Mm-hmm.
He just won Best of the West, and he hit his target twice at over 3,600 meters,
Holy crap.
and he hit 2 out of 5 shots.
Really? How far is that in yards for guys like me who don't know do the
Uh,
math?
2 miles?
Are you kidding me?
No,
Good God.
yeah, it was over 2 miles.
What is he
And
shooting?
he shoots a 416.
Hmm.
His, I think his gun. I think that one he dropped like 14K into it.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but he loves this, man. Like he travels all over the country and just shoots long range.
That would be a fun job.
Yeah, yeah,
Be a
he
frustrating
loves it.
job too, because some days you're just not going to hit, and it's just like, dude, this sucks. You
Dude,
can't figure out the wind, and
yep,
that's frustrating. But
yep. He went
um,
to Texas last year, and he admitted, he goes, I got my butt kicked.
yeah,
It was one of those things. He couldn't figure out the wind. He couldn't figure out uh, like everything was affecting him that day, and he was doing really well up until he got to that super far shot, and he got destroyed.
really, that, yeah,
Yep,
that's. I
it
mean,
just wasn't his day.
there's been some days like that. I go out in the woods, and it's like, man, I can shoot 600 or 700, 800 yards with my 300 win, and it's like, yeah, I could kill something out to 700, 800 pretty comfortably. I wouldn't want to go beyond that just because my skill level isn't there yet.
Yeah,
And then you get up there and you have like a 10 to 15 mile an hour wind. It's like, okay, I'm shooting like 300 or 400 today. Like
right.
you just can't. Like very rarely do you ever have the optimum. Do I ever have the optimum conditions to shoot my max effective yardage? Like it always gets cut in half or 30% by environmental conditions. Same thing with bows.
Yeah,
I mean, absolutely the same thing with bows. Um,
100%.
yeah, I mean, your effective range changes by day to day. At least it should if you're honest with yourself. So there's some
Yeah,
days where you're just shooting, you're just like, I just don't have it today. Something's not clicking, something's not working. I'm getting into my bow funny, or I'm changing my grip a little bit. Something's off to where I'm just not shooting good, and you just have to call
yeah,
a spade. And I think that's a real gut check for folks that show up to tournaments like your guys. Is like it really well, first of all, it exposes your weaknesses. If you don't have the fitness level
Yeah.
portion. That's a big key. If you don't have
Yep.
your app, your third axis set up, you're absolutely screwed shooting on Hoodoo. I haven't been to the other ones, so I can't speak on those ones. But if your third axis is off,
Good. If you're
you're not
screwed
going to
on
have a good
Hoodoo, you're
time.
definitely screwed on the other two.
Right.
Stevens is an animal. It is a lot of steep up and down. So
Is it
yeah, if you
really?
don't have your third, oh yeah, hands down, man. If you don't have a third axis set up, you're hosed.
You literally you're going to have to basically guess the whole thing. I mean, because most
Yeah.
of the shots that I've had there, you're standing side hill, shooting side hill, or and we're talking like steep side hills. The one when I
Mm-hmm.
shot, or you're shooting steep up and down. I mean, that's really about it. I mean, you're not just shooting flat all day long. There's
Yeah.
probably more steep than there is flat. I'm guessing. Going off of memory there, but so I guess
It's
tell me about
very
all
steep.
the you've got Hoodoo, you've got Tamarack, and then what was your third one?
Stevens Pass.
And where's that one at?
You know where Leavenworth, Washington is?
No idea.
Okay, so Leavenworth is really known for their big light up for Christmas every year. It's like the big Christmas community that they
Okay.
like to do. And it's super cool. The town is, I mean, you drive through the town, you're like, okay, this is a thing like you'd see in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that kind of setting. And you take that up, and we're on, I can't remember what highway we're on, but Stevens Pass is up there. If you go up through Seattle, up through Monroe, and head east,
Okay.
it'll take you up over the top. um, it is super cool. And it's crazy because you step out where the camping area is. If you step out of the trailer and you look at the mountain, all you see is a mountain.
Really?
It's insane. Um, and then like one of our courses, you can start at the lift, but the course that starts goes the same direction. You have like 3/4 mile walk before your first target, just because of how the courses are built. But we built it to where when you finish a course,
Mm-hmm.
it bumps right into that course, so you can start that course.
Oh, okay.
So, so a lot of these guys that are starting at like 10, they're shooting. This year it'll be called the Mule Deer course. Last year was the Vortex, but they're shooting that course and they bump right into Archery Trader and they finish that course out and they shoot all the way back down into camp.
Oh, that's pretty sick. So you get two courses when you shoot, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That makes
yeah.
good sense. How many targets
That's
is
why
that?
they 45 total,
And you're doing
25
one
and
arrow at a target, or are you doing two arrows at a target?
one. You do
Okay.
one arrow at a target because if we let everybody do 2 arrows at a target, a lot of our inserts wouldn't make it through a shoot.
Oh, I bet.
They would. I mean, we'd be replacing inserts like
I
crazy.
mean, you're
Now there
shooting.
are those guys that I'm emptying my quiver. I paid for this. I'm emptying my quiver, and we see it all the time.
Yeah. Get my
But
money's worth.
yeah, I'm getting my money's worth.
You ever see anybody show up with broadheads?
If we catch a broadhead,
Just
you're not
kick them out.
even. Yeah, you're gone. You're done.
Yeah.
We don't allow that. It's hard enough to keep these inserts in good shape, to keep the targets in good shape, but the moment we catch someone using a broadhead, you're done.
You know, speaking of broadheads, it would be from a. I guess maybe this is just maybe a little bit of a purist coming out of me, I guess, but it'd be fun to see a fixed blade 5 or 6 shot course to see who actually has their shit together, who has a good tune, who's ready to go out and hunt right now. That would be
You're
fun.
not wrong.
That would be
You're
fun.
not wrong.
Yeah, and then hey, we'll give
Well,
you yeah. I'd be curious to see that. 'Cause
and there's those guys out there that hey, they sight their bow in for a field point, and then they put a broadhead on. Like, man, I'm way off. So then they sight their bow in for a
yeah,
broadhead, rather than understanding the proper tuning of sights and rest, and until your broadheads and your field points are hitting the same at 20 yards, clear out to 60 yards.
Right. It just seems like for me that'd be like the ultimate exposure right there. Like I
Yeah.
would love to see that. I think that would be freaking sweet.
Yep.
And I would, man, I mean, shit, that would be fun. Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
gets me excited seeing stuff like that because if you want to get like real world, and even they don't even have to be really animal targets. You just say, hey, we have these Reinhardt 18 and ones from how far, we'll put them out to 90 yards, whatever you guys are max effective
Yeah.
range is. That would be pretty fun. That would be cool.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
you're not wrong. That would be a lot of fun.
yeah,
Something I might bring up to TJ. It wouldn't be this year, but
yeah,
that's something we definitely could look at towards next year.
yeah. I'm like, sorry, mechanical guys, you don't get to participate because it's just like shooting field
Well,
tip. I mean,
it's like
honestly,
shooting a field point.
yeah.
You know, I, shooting a fixed head it's almost an art in itself.
100%. You took the word out of my mouth. It's more of an art. It takes honestly more skill to tune.
Mm-hmm.
And I own mechanicals. I don't use them hardly ever, but I own mechanicals. I love mechanicals. I think they're really cool. I look at most of them like novelty items because I would never use them to
Yeah.
hunt. But I just feel like it would really, really show people, hey, like I do have some growing to do in this area, and maybe some
Yep.
people just like, hey, man, I'm just gonna throw I have a wife and two kids. I'm just going to throw a mechanical on there. I'm calling it good. I have some buddies like that, and I don't judge anybody for what they're using, but I
Yeah.
just feel like you said, there is an art to it, and
Yeah.
I feel like the farther east you get, that art gets lost because a lot of those states for many years have had mechanicals, and us
Yep.
guys over on the west, we just made them legal a few years ago. So we
Yeah.
still have that art here, but there's a hell of a lot of people that still don't know how to do it. Like there's most of your
Dude.
archers don't know how to do it.
Yeah. I was shooting or not mechanical. I was shooting a fixed a couple of years ago, and a gigantic bull in Wyoming, and wind gust came through, and I mean, it hit my broadhead and knocked my broadhead almost a full foot to the right.
Oh crap!
Yeah, I punched that bull right through the liver, and I was like, all right, I'll be back tomorrow. What I didn't know was that there was a creek. Well, I did know of the creek, but I didn't think he was going to make it.
Hmm.
But he made it to the creek, and then he just kept drinking his whole way out and made it all the way back to a ranch. And I lost that bull.
That sucks. And that was with a
Dude,
mechanical or a fixed blade?
it was with a fixed blade. I mean, the wind hit that fixed blade and just,
Pushed it.
I mean, it wasn't like, oh, hey, this is a nice easy wind. It was only a 40-yard shot. I felt really confident. I shoot 40 yards all the time. But what I didn't take into effect was I was standing behind a tree, and I wasn't really feeling the wind. And as soon as that arrow kicked out into the open, that wind cut right across that arrow and
Mm.
just smacked it. And if I had paid attention, I would have understood that. And I think if I'd shot, that was the year that, we couldn't shoot these courses. You know, I didn't really get out and shoot these 3D courses that year. And
Mm.
I think if I had done that, because there's always a breeze going. It always seems like there's a breeze going up on top.
Right.
If I almost feel like if I had been shooting these courses, I would have understood I needed to adjust for that.
Well,
And even being an expert marksman, I still screwed up.
and then some of these like the wind was. I mean, you can get on Hoodoo when you get pretty far up there. You can get some serious wind up there.
Oh man,
So
you get to the top, and I've seen some nasty winds up there.
yeah,
And these guys are like, they're really leaning into the wind, trying to keep control of their bow,
right.
or they're waiting for that ease of the wind before they shoot.
Yeah. God, shooting a wind. Yeah. See, that's where a wrist rocket comes in handy. I mean, really. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if I was going to shoot it, I'd have my wrist rocket with me, and then I'd have my hinge.
Yeah.
Because just shooting a hinge in the wind is a freaking nightmare. I mean, good luck. Straight up,
Yeah.
good luck. I mean, you do have to shoot in the wind sometimes. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
at least personally, that's my experience with it. But did you draw any good
Yeah.
tags this year, or are you going to draw any good tags this year?
I think I've got enough points to draw my second season elk tag. Because I like filming hunting, archery is the best time for me to film an elk hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So I really try and focus on rifle hunting just so I can be running a camera during archery season.
Oh, right on.
Um, so I think I feel like I got enough points to draw my second season tag. I will be back in Western Oregon for a blacktail hunt on a private ranch.
Oh, heck yeah.
I've never killed a blacktail before.
Really?
So when they offered it to me, I was like, yes.
Especially on a private ranch.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, yeah, sure.
yeah. And they're like, yeah, our ranch is 120 acres of orchard and irrigated fields.
You should definitely kill something.
Yeah, yeah. They're like, and you're the only one allowed to come.
That's pretty cool.
I was like, sweet, all right, that's cool. Like,
How'd you
I
get
was,
that?
um, I found out about an active duty service member who had drawn a second season bull tag over here on the east side,
Uh-huh.
and he had never been elk hunting before. And he has been stationed in Georgia for 5 years. And I was like, all right, like, I want to help this guy because you and I both know hunting elk on the east it's really hard. But then you start putting rifles out there, those elk go into places that,
Right.
I mean, you just look at it and you're like, I am not going in there. I'm not doing it. And, if you have a team, then you're more willing to do it. And in 3 days, I mean, we put 33 miles on our boots.
Really?
Yeah, we were, and that's not counting over drive time too. Like we were glassing and glassing and driving and glassing, and we could not find nothing.
Hmm.
And we had one area that my brother killed a bull in a few years ago, and was like, you know what, let's go back in there. My brother kind of pushed on and was like, hey, dude, all those roads around it, they're all closed. Just go back in there and see. So we get about 1.5 miles back, and I heard a bugle. And I thought, like, really? Like, it's November.
Mm-hmm.
But it sounded pretty thick. And I was like, all right, well, I know I've heard bugles in July. Like, they talk with bugling all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, let's just push a little farther. And then I heard another bugle and another bugle. And these weren't tubes, they were real. And I was like, oh. And we made our way to the herd. And before I knew it, it was like full blown rut in November.
Really?
I mean, the bulls were screaming, the cows were talking. The big bull was pushing his herds around. And I literally was like, this is almost not even fair. But we did. I mean, we got into a herd. It probably had 120 elk in it total.
Mm-hmm.
I filmed the hunt. So when you look at the hunt, you're like, that's not 120 elk. There's only a little bit of the elk in the camera.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet you that herd had 120 head of elk in there. I think we counted like 15 bulls in it.
You guys kill one out of there?
Yeah. He it's funny because somebody actually wrote me and was like, dude, you guys herd shot that bull. No. Mike was the shooter. He was 20 yards to my right. And we were waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. The footage, what you see, is 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
What really happened is I bet you we were standing there for 5 or 6 minutes. And one bull finally walked out of the herd and got about 10 yards to the left of our left of the herd.
Mm-hmm.
And he was able to shoot a really nice 5-point bull.
Right on. And that's up on YouTube right now?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
What's the YouTube channel?
Thwack It Outdoors.
I'll have to go check that out.
THWACKIT. Thwack It Outdoors.
That's pretty cool. And that was his first bull?
Yeah. It was his first bull.
How big was the herd bull?
He was good.
Really?
He was well over 300. But he wouldn't come out. He just wouldn't. And so, Mike said, if it had been a spike that had stepped out at 20 yards, he was shooting it. It's his first elk ever.
Right.
It's his first elk hunt ever.
That's pretty cool, man.
And even being from Western Oregon, he never hunted elk.
Really?
Yep.
Man, I struggled for so long over on the west side, and then I'd go over to the east side. I'd get into elk every time I'd go hunting over there, and it was just like, man, like it's just two completely like you could see elk almost every day over where we hunted over east, but you could get into elk and never see them over here on the coast because it's
Hmm.
sometimes just so thick. And it was
Yeah.
just like it's just such a difference. Like I think if you can really get good at yeah some of the eastern uh, stuff does translate over here, obviously, because an elk's an elk. But I mean, I feel like if you can get really good over here, you can really crush it over there. And
Dude.
guys that are on the east, if they get really good over there, they might struggle for a little bit. They'll do a lot of good plays, but they might struggle a little harder than a guy
Yeah.
that switches back over that way.
Hmm.
So
You know,
is that what you found
and
too?
what I've found is if I can kill a bull in Oregon, I can go anywhere outside of Oregon and kill a bull.
Yeah, I haven't
I
elk hunted
mean,
outside of Oregon yet, so.
so I've shot 4 bulls in Wyoming. My first one, I didn't know there was a road close by. We left to go get help and hadn't even really tracked him yet. I just knew it was a good shot.
Hmm.
Came back and it was a gut pile. Come to
What?
find out, yeah, yep, somebody else was there. And the only thing we figure is that they were watching what happened and they went and tracked him, got the help. There was a road and literally you could back a 4-wheeler right into the spot, hook on, and out you went. And
Man, that's so frustrating.
I was
Big
really
bull too.
frustrated.
If it's in Wyoming bull, it's probably a good bull.
It was just a 5 point rag.
Oh, okay.
I was living there. I was stationed there in the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
Um, so yeah, I shot that bull, and then the next year I shot a really nice 3 point buck, full of velvet. Went over the hill, died middle of the road. 4-wheeler picked it up and drove off.
What?
I am not kidding. I was like, really? So I was like, all
Wow.
right, fine. But the next year, my buddy Zach and I, we went to the pits of hell, is what I call it. And I shot a bull at 10 feet.
Hmm.
And I didn't realize like how far we were from the truck when I shot it. I looked at the GPS and I was like, oh no. It was 6 miles back to the truck, and I
Oh
had only killed
shoot.
I killed a 5x4 raghorn. I was like, dude, we're gonna hike out, go get the horses, and come back in. I shot that bull at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
We got back to that bull after grabbing the horses. We got back to the bull at about 6 o'clock at night, and so we corded this bull up basically in the dark.
Hmm.
Loaded him up, and we didn't get back to the truck until almost 11 o'clock that
Oh my gosh.
night. Yeah, and we are literally using flashlights. It is blow down aspens.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, we thought we found an open meadow, and then it was just falling over aspen trees. It was like, oh, this is
That sucks.
the most brutal pack out ever.
Yeah. Man, I quit
So,
hunting way deep because I'm just like I really don't want to kill one back here. Like we were going 8 miles in and coming 8 mile like every day we'd go 8 miles in
yeah,
because we weren't backcountry guys. We'd come back to the pickup every day,
yeah,
and which is really stupid. I don't know why we never just stayed in there, but we were hiking out. We were doing like 14, 16 miles a day. I was like, why are we doing
yeah,
this? And this is not in friendly area. Like the shit that we used to do, I'm like, dude, why did we ever do that? And now I'm just trying
dude.
to kill them as close to a road as I can. So,
The Yeah, 2 years later, I shot a bull at 8 feet. It's a 4 by spike. My son is 4 days old.
oh,
My wife, she kicked me out of the house. She was like, "Go, you're driving me nuts. It's elk season. Get out of here."
hmm
So I went out. Bull ran across the road like 2, 3 in the afternoon. Dove off into the trees after him. Called him into 8 feet and shot him.
oh, sick.
He ran downhill away from the road, and I was like, "No, wrong way. You're supposed to go that way. Back up the hill." And we tracked him down. He died 52 feet from a road.
Heck yeah, dude. That's my type of pack out
And
right there.
yeah, we still had to quarter him up because of all the like
Oh, of course.
Wyoming. It's got all that lodgepole blowdown.
Hmm.
So we're like lifting hindquarters like 4 feet in the air to get up over these trees. And I've got a guy with me who's never even been around a dead animal like that.
Hmm.
He's like, I've seen elk. I've never actually hauled one out. And I was like, oh, well, you
Here
are
you go.
now. At least it was only 52 feet back to the truck. But
That
dude,
is awesome.
that was so much fun. And then I shot that other one that we lost on the ranch in Wyoming back in 21.
I'll tell you, the short pack outs for me are way funner than the long pack outs. I am getting either more efficient or more lazy, depending on whatever way you want to look at it. But
We're
every year
getting
that goes
old.
by, yeah, because you take me back 10 years ago, man. I didn't give a shit where that bull was. If it was bugling, I am in there, and I am down there now. And now it's
Yeah.
like I walked away from 2 or 3 bugles. I'm like, nope. I just walked. I did not hear that. And then I think a guy actually ended up sticking that bull like a week later. He was one of those guys that was willing to drop in there, and it
Mm-hmm.
was just like. And I told myself I'm being picky this year, and
Yeah.
it turns out it was a good thing I didn't go after it because it was only like a 4 or 5 point rag. I'm like, yes, but it was like right where I left it too. I'm like, that bull had just been like he was definitely killable when he was bugling at me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, I would have to call 4 or 5 other people, and then I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
If I knew it was a
We went
shooter, I would. But
in 2012. I was with one of my chief master sergeants, and we were on a hillside we called Devil's Backbone because once you get up there to a certain point, both sides it's like straight down.
really,
Mm-hmm. And we knew there was a giant bull in there, and we started calling, and sure as can be, he took his whole herd straight down. And I looked at him, I was like, "Are we really about to do this?" And he's like, "Let's go." That bull made it to the bottom in 5 minutes. It took us an hour
oh, I bet.
to get down to the bottom. And then, but once we got down to the bottom, amazing. Like, he's killed two 375-inch bulls
Holy crap!
in Montana. And he came back to me like, I'm the caller. I don't know if me as a caller, I shouldn't be really watching what's going on out front
Uh-huh.
because I don't want that bull to see me. And he came back to me and he goes, I've shot 2 monsters. That bull dwarfed
Hmm.
those two.
Really?
Dwarfed them. I was like, what were we talking? He's like 410, 415.
What? Really?
This is a general public land bull.
Huh?
And he was like, he's a giant. I was like, and he goes, we're coming back tonight and tomorrow and the next day and until we kill this bull. That bull made us look stupid. We never
Really?
did find it.
Well, he gets big that for no, he gets big for a reason.
Yeah, yeah. He had a stopping point and he would not. If he crosses the creek, he's dead. But he had a stopping point. He said, "No, I'm not going any farther." And he went back to his cows, came back. Went back to his cows, came back.
Hmm.
And every time John was like, "All right, I'm going to make a move," nope, the bull would shoot right back.
Hmm.
And he wasn't able to move, and we weren't able to kill that bull.
I've heard similar stories where it's the same thing. You get a big mature herd bull, and they will beeline to a spot that they're comfortable with, but not past, and then they'll take that same trail and go boom, right back, and then you'll call them right back to that same spot, and it's just like this ping pong game of what that bull's doing, and it's just like, man, like I've heard of other really big bulls doing that too, and it's just really interesting how. Like your story just reminded me of another buddy's story. This was over in the Eagle Caps. This happened to him,
Yeah.
and yeah, he's like, so I just stood. He's like, so I just stood right there on that bull's trail, and then he's like, I almost got ran over by that sumbitch. I didn't even get a shot off, but it was just like, that's kind of, I don't know. It's just a weird. I wonder why. I want to know why they do that. Like I don't understand that aspect of it.
I think it's a distance of leaving their cows.
Yeah.
Um, we had one bull. He hit same thing. He hit the spot. He wouldn't go any farther. The moment another bull bugled where his herd was at, I mean, beeline gone, and we never even had a chance.
Right.
I think a lot of it has to deal with, okay, I've got my herd where it's safe. I'm going to go to a spot, and a real elk is going to come the rest of the way.
Right.
And I'm almost certain that that is what's going on. Like a real elk is going to come out. It's going to show itself. And I'm not going out any farther. Like this is it. This is the stopping point. And the bulls that we're killing are the ones that are like, oh, I'm gonna make that. I'll make that move.
Right.
I had a bull 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago. I'm huge herd bull. I'm screaming to him. And he's at a point where you can look back in the trees and you see him. He's not coming any farther. The bull I shot, he came the rest of the way.
Hmm.
He came right over the top of me, and I shot that bull at 18 yards. Meanwhile, the herd bull is still standing there screaming.
Yeah.
The big boys, they just know, hey, I'm close enough that a real elk is going to come the rest of the way.
I think you're onto something there because we were on a bull over east on one of the big bull tags, and I learned so much in 4 days. I just wish I could have that experience every year. But we're on a really big, 350 bull, and we're just like, pushing in for 4 days straight. We were on that bull from daylight to dark. He didn't move his area, and it took 4 days for us to finally get him to come at us. And by that time, he had chased off a big old wonky bull 6-point. He had a weird thing on his right side, I think it was, and then his left side was a big 6. And he chased off that bull, and we're like, why is he not chasing us off? Like, we were inside of that bull, and then finally I got in this little thicket, and then right after he chased that bull back, I'm like, we have to push in really hard real quick, and then I'll just go ape shit. And then that finally, it took 4 days, but finally he came in and we got a shot at him. I was like, Jesus, like he had a spot or a certain distance from his herd he was willing to get. And it didn't matter if you pushed in on him, he wouldn't leave his herd, but it was all about, for him, I felt like it was all about the visibility. So he would chase you off if farther distance, obviously, because he could see farther and then he could still go back to his herd. But we kept running into him where it was nice and open. And so, and then the first time we actually got in a thicket with him, the second time we actually got in a thicket with him, we actually were able to call him in to 20 yards. And she ended up shooting him. But it was just a real eye-opening experience because we watched him, and he had 3 satellites that would not leave his herd alone. They would just, at all times, there was 3 satellites that were circling his herd. And only one of them, none of them were real challengers. They were all smaller than him by a long shot. But it was
they're
crazy.
Not trying to challenge that bull though, because a cow will be bred by 4 or 5 different bulls in a 12-hour period. So there's a pecking order. You got the herd bull who will get to her first,
right?
But then once he's pretty much done, like, he's bred her 4, 5, 6 times, he's toast. And so she'll go to the next caliper bull down, and she'll be bred by him. If they're going to challenge the bull, they'd go right into the herd.
Right.
They'll stay on that outside, and they'll bugle and scream, and they'll display and all that other stuff. Like Paul Medell said, if you want to kill that herd bull, go right at him. Bugle your way right at the bull. Those satellites, they'll step aside.
We
but
tried
make
that
sure you're in the thick stuff.
Yes, and man, we tried that for days, and it finally worked out. But I mean, a lot of times we were within 60 yards. I mean, we were almost all day long. We were within 100, 150, almost all day long. It was just like, dude, why is he not churning? And it just kind of figured out once you actually had that successful moment, you could compare that to all the unsuccessful moments. And then you'd be like, okay, here's what probably happened. We either pissed him off enough over that span of 4 days, or it was the setup on this one. And I'm still, because he chased off that big satellite, and then within just a few minutes, he was on us. I mean, he was just, I don't know. But it was just an incredible experience, man. I'll never forget that.
Dude. Yeah.
What sucks is I haven't had a bugle.
I love big bulls.
Yeah, right?
I love
I've only shot one, so I can say I love big bull. But I guess for me, like, I haven't had that rutting experience in a couple years, because my last couple bulls have been mostly spot and stock ish. I haven't. I
Hmm.
mean, the only last up close and personal bull that I had called in was for, ironically, the same shooter as the bull that I just talked to you about, and she got caught drawing her bow at like less than 20 yards. It's like, damn
Dude,
it.
you know what
But
I found works for those instances?
hmm,
Hex.
really,
The hex. I am dead serious.
man, I have
I got
never been
I
on the
got
hex.
caught. I got caught wide open. Like there's cows and calves standing on the left of me. I got all this on video before my hard drive took a dump on me.
Mm-hmm.
But I got all on video. Cows and calves on the left of me. I am in the sunshine, one ponderosa tree. And I'm like, I'm host. I'm a dark figure in basically a small meadow with the sun beating on me.
Mm-hmm.
Bulls are screaming. Cows and calves are moving right next to me. They're looking right at me, but they just go right back to feeding.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes this. I mean, it's a really nice 5 point bull. Good whale tails, good time length. Not a like a oh my goodness, but a really nice, respectable 5 point bull. And I mean, he's looking right at me, and I was like, he's walking straight towards me, and I'm like, well, I'm pretty much hosed. I pulled my bow back anyway, and he never even batted an eye.
Really?
He never flinched. He just walked right at me, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Hmm.
So I used the hex suit, and I gotta give it to Mike. Honestly, I think that hex suit saved my butt that day.
Really? I,
Yeah.
man, I'm so skeptical when it comes to the hex suits. I
I
just.
used it for turkeys,
Mm,
spot and stock archery on turkeys.
mm-hmm.
I've used it for duck hunting, no decoys, just doing calling, sitting on a rock in the wide open, and I'll pull a limit in an hour and a half on ducks. And then I'll bring in other people the next day. We'll have 2-3 times as many ducks, but none of them are wearing the hex suit, and not one duck is coming down.
Really?
And that's with decoys, that's with blinds, that's with everything. Nothing's coming down.
Hmm. Maybe
I
there is
am no
something to it.
longer I am no longer a skeptic of the hex suit.
Really?
I am 100% on board.
Hmm. Is that with? So you think it works with big game and birds too?
Oh, hands down.
Really?
Birds more so. Birds are very susceptible to that.
See, I could get on the bandwagon with the bird thing, but with the elk thing, I'm like, I don't know. Is it a
Yep.
coincidence, or is it? Did it really
Well,
work?
I thought it could be a coincidence, but dude, I've pulled my bow back in heavy timber,
Mm-hmm.
and that bull picked me off when I thought there's no way he saw me. And here I am staying in the wide open. That bull looked right at me and didn't even care.
Yeah, but you were in his herd too, though. So maybe movement was just there's a lot of movement around him to begin with.
The herd was coming to me.
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
the herd was coming to me. I wasn't in the herd. I was on the front of it. They were all coming to me. And the cows, like I said, they came to me and they went down the hill and they stayed to my left the whole
Mm-hmm.
time. And I
Interesting.
mean, I'm wearing the dark axle pattern from Gulch Gear.
I've heard
And
of
I'm
Gulch Gear.
standing in the wide open,
Mm-hmm.
and he never batted an eye. I
So
mean,
does the hex go below your
I put
camo?
the hex on underneath.
So it's like a layering system then?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a really thin fabric that Mike has created now. The old hex was like you were hot and sweating, and it was hard, to wear. But the new stuff, it's really comfortable to wear. He's got a new outer layer shirt that I wear all the time for turkeys and stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
And I thoroughly put like I am on my hands and knees crawling to these turkeys because I'm running out of daylight, and they're just looking at me.
Hmm.
And I thought, this is never going to work. And I smoked a bird at 30 yards.
Really? Maybe there is
Yep,
something to it. What that Gulch Gear? I've heard that name. That's an Oregon company, isn't it?
it is. They're out of Hillsboro.
Really?
A guy named Brian runs it. He used to be an animator for Pixar.
Oh,
And the last time we talked, he was working for Sony.
okay. But that's his company.
Um, Gulch Gear is his company. made in Oregon. All the print ink and stuff,
Yeah.
non-UV pigment. So all that soap that you have to buy to remove the UV pigments out of your clothes
Uh-huh.
every single wash, you don't have to do that.
Really?
Yeah. So I've just learned to, you know what? I'm just going to play winds now so they don't smell me. I don't even like and you can ask my wife. I threw my Gulch gear in with just the regular scented soaps that she uses,
Mm-hmm.
and I played the wind and I smoked a deer at 35 yards, and then I had a chance of that bull at 25 yards.
Hmm.
And I just played wind and wore my hex suit.
I've been thinking about using Oregon only products and companies this year just to see if I could like everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
and but I was really wanting to maybe try out Gulch gear, so I've heard
Their their haywire pant, I used the same pair of pants for 18 straight months. Every hunt I did, I only wore the one pair of pants.
yeah,
The only thing that got a hole in it was the pockets from getting worn out.
really. Yeah, because I've
And
been
I
switching
mean,
over
I
to
abused it.
yeah, man. I got tired of buying all this expensive shit and then having it like disintegrate on the coast in 2 weeks. Like I went through two pairs of Obsidian pants in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and like you could not wear them, disintegrated.
Yeah.
Like
Matt Dornan, he lives down there in Roseburg
that
or
rings a
Roseburg
bell.
area.
Yeah, rings a bell.
He wears Gulch gear and he wears it through the nastiest, thickest brush. I mean, he hunts for those cow elk with a bow in November.
Hmm.
Yeah, that late season cow elk hunt, whenever that is,
Mm-hmm.
he does that in Gulch gear.
Interesting.
And he swears by it. And I've been using it. I swear by it.
And it's pretty
The stuff
affordable
is
too, right? It's not like all this freaking
the
sick.
pants are $190 for the
Holy shit.
haywire.
Okay, never mind.
It's but what other pair of pants have you ever seen last 18 months? And
For yeah,
I don't hunt, oh, you 18 months, haha, where you go like twice a month? No, I hunt waterfowl 70 days a winter. And that's the only pant I wore.
hmm.
It went through the wash every 2 days. I constantly wore it over barbed wire through thick brush. I wore it elk hunting. I wore it deer hunting. I've packed out animals with it. I wore it scouting. I've worn it setting up the courses for the Northwest Mountain Challenge. I bet you I wore those pants in over 300 days in 1 year.
Really?
And the
Man.
only hole I got in there was the pockets.
I mean, I could buy a lot of Carhartt for $190 though.
Well, I know. I
That's
know.
yeah. I've been killing all my
I've
shit in
been
Carhartts lately.
I've been buying 511 tactical just because they're comfy.
Yeah.
They don't last nearly as long. If I buy 3 pairs of 511s, they'll last me about a year.
Hmm.
And I'm still paying $180 for 3 pairs, or what, $60 right now a pair.
Yeah. Interesting.
So,
I didn't know Gulch gear was that expensive. How much is like the regular shirt and stuff?
uh, last time I looked, it was like 50 or $60.
Oh, okay.
But that was for the long sleeve, like water wicking.
Yeah.
But man, and he's got some other stuff. He's got the Polar Tech vest and coat and stuff, and
Hmm.
those are up there with the pant price. But I've been wearing those too, and no holes, nothing to complain about. Like they're quiet.
Any rain gear?
We've discussed that, and he's been wanting to pursue the rain gear, but he just hasn't had the time to do it. To do rain gear, you're looking at $20,000 investment before you even sell your first pair.
Right. Yeah. Man, I want to get away from these big, First Light. I want to get away from all this giant corporations, because First Light.
You want a good rain gear, you go with Ghost Bull. They're out of Astoria.
Really?
They're expensive. 100% made in America. He guarantees it'll never rip and it'll never leak, and you will always be dry.
And is it like, and that's something you could actually wear hunting though, or is it like?
Yeah. He's got one of his guys is Donnie, and He's got pictures of elk he's killed wearing the rain gear,
Really? Yeah, because I
and
don't
it's
want something that
camouflaged.
looks like I just don't want something that looks like I work on a commercial fishing boat. I'm wearing a giant rubber Grendons, something like that. But
Yeah, nope, it's not. Yeah, it's not like that, and it's breathable.
oh, really?
It's breathable.
What? Huh? What company was that?
Like a Ghost Bowl.
Ghost Ball.
They'll be at Hoodoo.
Oh, really?
Yep.
And when is Hoodoo?
Yep. Hoodoo is June 21st to the 23rd.
June 21st to the 23rd. Okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Like I said, they're a little pricier by a lot, but
What do they
he
run?
guaranteed the full. I think a full pair was like $1,500,
Holy shit!
but he guarantees they'll never rip. As long as you don't like take a knife and but he guarantees they won't rip. He wears them through the nastiest, thickest stuff up there in Astoria in the mountains.
Yeah.
Um, and if a seam rips, if he can't fix it, he'll replace it.
$1,500 for rain gear is
A lot of money.
3 times more than I'd like to pay.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm also
know.
cheap. I'm also cheap.
But
Not really. I mean,
I'm,
$500 for rain gear.
I'm,
That used to be a shit ton of money for rain gear.
yep. Well,
Not anymore.
I'm talking to some guys that, they know these bigger name companies, and one of them sells a pair of waders for $1,000. It costs them $40 to make, and they're made in China.
Seriously?
Yes,
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
that I'm dead serious. Although it's $1,500, but it's made in the United States.
Right.
And he even puts out there like how much it costs to make it, so you can see, oh, you're not really making that much money on it. It's just people want the made in America until they see the made in America price.
Right. Well,
Fireside Pine, every single item on there made in America. T-shirts are $48 for a regular T-shirt, but clear down to the very threading and the dyes used has to be made in America, or he won't use it.
that's cool though. I started buying from T&K. I don't know if you know T&K Hunting.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted something that was legit for gators, and I also bought a bino harness from them because I was just wanting to switch away from all these super clicky, first slide, FHF, all this like meat eater bullshit. Not that don't like meat eater, but I just kind of wanted to get away from that giant commercialized hunting industry and just kind of focus on small
Agreed.
American made. And so T&K, I reached out to them, and one thing is like they don't like influencers, they don't like social media stuff. They just like you'll pay full pop for our product or you're not buying it. I'm like that is
Yeah.
really refreshing. Like I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up buying his bino harness, and I bought a bunch of other shit with it, and then his gaiters. The gaiters are phenomenal, and I was having
Yeah.
one issue with them. And I messaged him, and he's like, "Send them back, and we'll basically sew something on there to fix it." And so they because I told him like, "Here's what it needs," and he's like another little flap or a hook here to keep the snow from doing what it's
Yeah.
doing, and they did that for free. They like send it back to us, and we'll update them with what we think will work for you. And I'm like, dude, like name another brand that's gonna sew on some extra shit for you, custom, and then not
Yeah.
charge you anything. And I'm like, dude, that is the business type of business I want to do.
Those are the companies that are customer first.
100%. And he's a veteran.
Because look what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
You're giving them a shout out for what they did.
Yeah. And the bino harness is solid too. I mean, I've got one
Mm-hmm.
suggestion for the bino harness, but that's with all the bino harnesses that I've wore. But yeah, I mean, a solid company, man. I really want to go
Yeah.
away from the giant corporation conglomerate over commercialized shit and start going into the smaller stuff. So, and I
Smaller
don't.
companies are trying to make it, man.
Well, and I don't feel like you're losing quality anymore.
No.
Like that, like the Astoria guy. Yeah, it's super expensive, but the quality is probably some of the best quality you're gonna buy. I
Yeah.
mean, and my
Yep.
first,
I have one of his. It's not a weather gear, but I have one of his shirts, and I wear it around all the time. And even when it's hot outside, like I'm not sweating.
Interesting.
I don't feel hot. It's a long sleeve shirt,
right?
but I don't feel hot.
Well, I can tell you, my First Light Seek rain jacket sucks dick. That thing is so bad that I was Chinook fishing up north in the bay or something like that, and it's raining cats and dogs. We caught a decent one,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sitting in my chair like I am now talking to you, waiting for a bite, right? And then all of a sudden, like I'm uncontrollably shaking. I'm like, I am so cold. And
Yeah.
then I have all my rain gear on, and then I'm like, why am I cold on the front? And then through the zipper, it had soaked around my whole upper butt.
Ugh.
They had to take me back. I was going into like hypo because it was like cold and raining and blowing. I got so cold they had to take me in. It took me about 20 minutes for me to actually like regain the ability to. I couldn't even undo my zipper. I was so cold. I was like so freezing. I was like, dude, and I'm
Jeez.
wearing this in Idaho, 10 miles deep, and I'm like, this could literally put me in a bad situation.
Oh,
Like,
imagine if you were out there hiking.
yeah,
You're hosed.
you're screwed.
You
Yeah.
you have to build a fire right then there. What if
Yep.
all the wood is wet?
Well, I did. I was in I was in Idaho a couple years ago, and it's like 30 something degrees, and it's 40, probably 30 or 40 mile an hour winds and hailing, and just doing all sorts of just nasty shit for six
Mm-hmm.
hours straight. I was out in it waiting because I'm like, there's got to be a buck right here, and I know he's gonna pop out. And so I built a fire, and I was getting soaked through, and I'm like, God, I need to just stay out here, grind it out. And I never saw a good buck that I wanted. There's a shit ton of deer moving below me. I mean, they were just filtering into this little pocket out of the wind,
Yeah.
and I was right where I needed to be. But I could only glass for 5 or 10 minutes because I would get so cold I'd have to come back to the fire. I ended up
Yep.
burning my goddamn pants. I ended up burning a hole through my pants. I burnt,
Oh,
yeah, dude. It was like it was
all
miserable, but
all in the trying to get a giant buck.
oh man, yeah. And I just felt like, man, if I had better ring gear, I wouldn't have had to do that, or if I had better gear, I wouldn't have had to do
Dude,
that.
this is and these are just some of the things that we figure out.
But right.
You
So,
know,
well, Mike, is there any last points of interest you want to point out about the Northwest Mountain Challenge, or anything that you want somebody to know
yeah.
that's thinking about signing up?
Well, some of the stuff that people have talked to us about in the past is they felt it was too expensive. So this year we dropped all the shooters' costs down 25%.
Wow.
So
Okay.
everybody else is going up in price. We said no. We understand the struggles. We understand the families. We understand that you coming to our shoot, you know, it's costing you $1,000 to come to our shoot
Hmm.
between food, fuel, shooter costs, everything else. So,
Yep.
we lowered our shooter costs. Mountains wanted to raise their prices. We fought tooth and nail, got the prices to kind of either stay down or lower.
Really?
They wanted, yep. Tamarack wanted to charge our shooters for camping. We said, no, that's unacceptable. By the time we got everything said and done, we're like, look, we are trying to save our shooters money, and everything we save, you're tacking on to them. And so, we, out of our own pockets, have paid for all the camping for the shooters for
Really?
Tamarack.
Hmm.
Mule Deer Foundation is putting on a huge banquet at Tamarack, big banquet. And they wanted to charge, and we said, no, all of our shooters are already paying a lot of money. Let's do something that they can be involved in that's going to not cost a massive amount of money for them. Cool. Free banquet.
Really?
Yep.
That's
Yep.
cool. That's
So all of
expensive
our
too. That's a
shooters,
big cost.
it's super expensive.
Right.
And we're raffling off $15,000 in prizes at each of the shoots.
Hmm.
Um, you know, we're doing all this stuff for our shooters because, one, we want them to have a great time. Two, we want them to feel like it was worth their time. And three, when they go home, we don't want them to be like, wow, it was so stinking expensive.
Hmm.
I remember one of my TAC events, it was 4 days of shooting, but I think I paid like $225
Really?
for a single individual for 4 days. Now I get it. That mountain was expensive, but did I feel like it was worth that value? No, not even close. There was no on-site camping. We had to go get an Airbnb, so we had to pay that money too. We had to pay for the food. We had to pay for the fuel to get there. By the time it was done, there's 4 of us shooting. There was 3 of us shooting together and a cameraman that was taking pictures and filming and stuff. And Dude, I want to say we paid between the three of us. I bet you we paid $2,500 to $3,000 to go for 4 days.
Holy crap! Yeah, that's not worth it.
And it was like, this isn't worth it. Like,
Yeah,
so I was like, nope, not doing this anymore. And we don't want to do that to our families. Like, how can you say you're family oriented and then do that?
right.
So, that went out the door. So we've lowered the prices. Our vendors costs, they used to be for a level 3 vendor last year was 1,500.
Hmm.
We said, no, we want more vendors there. We get the price crunch right now. We get the marketing issues and cost of inflation and trying to keep prices down. We dropped it down. A level 3 this year, $500.
No way, really?
Yep.
Huh?
Yep. So we lowered that all down, and these are all things that we've taken into consideration. Is it going to hurt us in the long run? It might. It might hurt us right now, but at the same time, maybe it doesn't, because then more people get out there and like, hey, a single shooter this year, $80 for 3 days. You get on-site camping. There is food at the lodge, or you can bring your own food, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, we have water stations that we just ask that you slip some donation money into the boxes up there. You don't have to, but we ask that you do.
Hmm.
It helps us cover the cost of the waters and stuff. But we have water stations and everything up there. Um, it's just all around. It's just a great time. We had Full Draw Film Tour again this year. We've got the Light of Knox shoot come back this year. We've got some more stuff going on with Mule Deer Foundation this year. It's just, we want to make this to where a family said this is worth it.
Sounds like you guys really did a good job getting the costs down. I mean, it's unbelievably affordable now because
Yeah.
I mean, that is really, especially on the sponsor side, because I think just me when I used to have a booth, there was like $200 or $400 or something like that. It was, and I just had a little, little tiny booth, and
Yeah.
so that's crazy cheap, crazy cheap, especially for
Yeah.
the sponsors. I mean, even the shooters, 3 days worth of shooting for $80 is that's very, very, very cheap. You'd find that with like a lower, smaller local shoot. I mean, you'd spend probably 20, $25 just for a day. So you're right there
Yeah.
with local costs. I mean,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome, man.
So no, we just want to make sure that the families are taken care of. You can't call yourself a family event and not take care of the family.
Right. That's fair.
So that's why two of our courses are completely known to be family friendly.
Hmm.
We have parents all the time taking their kids up there. They're 4 or 5 years old. They're shooting the courses with their parents.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know,
And that's what, honestly, that's what we need to see more of too, is, that next generation having opportunities. It's not all about these hardcore guys that are shooting 130 yards. Like everybody wants to talk about how
yeah,
far they can shoot. I'm like, dude, I get it. It's cool. It's a big dick swinging contest. I get it. But
yeah.
let's be honest, you're never going to kill something 140 yards away, 130 yards away.
I won't shoot an elk at 50 yards.
Oh, really?
Like if the bull is 50 yards, there's no wind and the bull doesn't know I'm there, then I'll shoot him.
Interesting.
And it's not that I don't trust myself. It's that I owe it to that bull to make the best shot possible. And my arrows are 538 grains. Like it's
You've got
when it
plenty.
hits, I
Yeah.
got plenty to bring behind it and smack it, right?
Hmm.
But it slows my arrow speed down a little bit.
Yeah.
So, what if that bull were to take a step in that arrow flight time? Then I do it again and I punch another bull in the liver and I lose him.
Right.
I can't live with myself like that. So
I keep well, it depends on the animal, but in the situation. But the bull I shot last year was 70, or he was 79, and then my max is 80. I try not to shoot past 80 for elk. I don't shoot
yeah,
past 80 for elk. And then hit him like 10 ringed him, just perfect shot, blew right through him. And then my second shot, follow up shot, I didn't range him again, but I'm like he ran back. He was standing on the side of the road, ran back, stayed on the road, and then turned around broadside for another shot. I was like, 87, here we go. And I was like about 2 inches from my first arrow. It just,
there you go.
yeah, and both of them were kill shots. He didn't know what happened on either arrow, but the first one blew through him. no problem. And then the second
Mm-hmm.
one broke the offside shoulder. My broadhead, the tip of the broadhead, you can see a blood stain on the skin, like it was bleeding through the skin. I didn't get a
Yeah.
pass through, but I mean it broke through his scapula on the. And I'm like, dude, like there's plenty enough energy. It's just you have to be able to make the shot, and then you have to know the situation enough to say,
Yep.
yeah, this bull's not going anywhere, or
Yeah.
whatever it may be. But it's just crazy, like the technology we have nowadays. That I don't think you probably could have done that early 2000s, but just I don't think I could have with the technology. Like the broadheads
There were
weren't as
guys.
good,
There were guys that were doing it, but
right?
early 2000s, there were still guys shooting aluminum shaft arrows.
Right, 100%. And your bow sound like a 22 going off.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Absolutely.
don't. I mean, so yeah. I mean, I get the longer shots, but these 130, 140 yard shots, it's just I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I
really do
mean,
much for me.
like we talked earlier, I trust myself at 1,000 yards on an elk. Doesn't mean I'm taking that shot.
Right.
My farthest shot on an elk is 563 yards
Hmm.
with a rifle.
Right.
So it's not that I can't do it. It's that there's so many variables that I'm just like, you know what? I play the what if game in my head, and I've passed on animals that it's like, what if I nick that branch?
Right.
I've let bulls go at 20 yards. Why? Because what if I nick that branch? What if, that branch is just enough that nicks the arrow and sends it into the neck and sends it into the neck meat
Right.
or sends it into the gut?
Not
I
worth it.
don't, I don't, yeah, it's not worth it. I only take shots that I know that are worth it. And by doing these Northwest Mountain Challenge shoots, being in real world situations, it makes me look at a picture of an animal and go, no, I need to adjust myself to where that branch is out of the way.
Right. In reality, 9 times out of 10, you have more time than what your head's telling you do. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, because I rushed a shot earlier this year, and I knew better. I knew better. But, you get these situations. It's like I only have a couple seconds. I got to get this shot off. And so I had this big 6 point out, middle of the road. It sounds like everything I shoot's in the road. But he's on this road, and I ranged his cow 80 yards. I'm like, perfect. Okay. That's right at my max range.
Mm-hmm.
And then I see Tynes coming out. So I'm like, okay, I don't have time to range him. He's going to come over here, and he's going to look right at me. So I drew back. And he wasn't the same range, like an idiot. I should have ranged him. I had all the time in the world and shot it right under his armpit. Like perfect left to right, just right under where it needed to be. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, that was really stupid. And then I'm like, I'm lucky I didn't wound that bull, or draw blood on him and never find him. But
Yep.
it's just our brains are always telling us that we have less time than what we really do, it seems like.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
just and I just don't like the nightmare. I've lived it once or twice, and
yeah,
you know, I've just come to the point now. It's like, you know what? I don't like the nightmares because it's not the bulls that I'm successful. They're in the truck and all that stuff that bugs me. Those are the ones I don't talk about that much. It's the ones that I've lost
mm-hmm.
that sit on my mind and bug me because it's like, what if I had paid attention to the wind? What if I had paid attention to that branch?
Right,
What if I had just given myself that extra 3 seconds and settled and didn't rush my shot?
100%.
And those are the ones that, we talk about. Those are the ones that we learn from. I've got success all around my house, but they're not the ones that I talk about.
Right. Well, honestly, I mean, it sounds like you're kind of like me. You're more motivated by your failures than you are your successes, because my failures stick with me way harder than my successes do. Like
Yes.
I remember my failures way more, and every time I hit the woods, I just remember struggling for so many years, and then like
Yeah.
I'm not failing again. I just I love elk meat too much, number one, but second of all, like I remember how hard it was for me just to see an elk during elk season, and then just to get inside range during elk season,
Yeah.
and then just getting a shot during elk season. It just seemed like every one of these was like an insurmountable hurdle for me. And then
Hmm.
over the course of 6 or 7 years, I finally would get over that hurdle to the next hurdle, and then
Yeah.
I feel like that's what Northwest Mountain Challenge does too, because for a lot of folks, they're going to hike that mountain, and it's going to remind them of shit they're probably currently hunting, and they're going to figure out, I probably don't want to shoot one back this far when they're sucking wind or when they're,
Yeah. Yep.
I wonder
You know,
how many bulls or how much meat's lost every year to bulls that are shot too deep.
dude,
It's
I
got to be
don't
quite a
even.
few.
It's got to be a stupid amount.
I mean, you hear about
These
these
guys
guys
that
killing
are.
them 8 miles deep, like I used to be hunting when I was younger, and it was like, man, why we would never would have got it out in time. Thank God we never
Nope.
killed one.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of these. You're just like, why are we 8 back deep? It's 95 degrees outside.
Right.
You're not getting that bull out. Where are
Right.
you going to hang it?
Yeah.
Where are you going to put that bull?
Yeah, we weren't carrying garbage bags to soak the meat in a creek. Like we weren't doing anything like that. We were just we got to get one on the ground, and then we'll worry about
We
it.
lost. We lost a bear. We lost a bear because it was too warm outside. And we were like, all right, we got to get the meat in the creek. So we put it in garbage bags, put it in the creek. We still lost the meat.
Really?
It just wasn't cold enough. Because if it's 95 degrees outside, unless that water's come off a glacier,
It's probably
it's been in the
65 or
sunshine.
something. Yeah, it's nice and
Yeah,
warm.
we still lost the bear,
It's tough. It's tough.
you know? And it's just like, you know what? There's just certain times there's like early season, the bulls aren't screaming. It's really hot. What are they doing? They're wallowing. I'm gonna go sit on a wallow all day. I'm not getting up at 6 in the. I'm not getting up at 4 in the morning to go bugle. I'm gonna go get my blind 8 in the morning. I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna chill. A bull's probably gonna come in like 2 or 3 afternoon, and I'm gonna whack him.
Right. I've
And
never
then
sat on a wallow before. Never.
you know what? You put cameras on the wallows, and there's one wallow. Dude, we didn't realize it. It had been used by 10 different bulls in 3 days.
Really?
And one of them was a monster.
What
You
if
know, when we
there's a
checked that camera
huh.
after the season was over.
No. Well, I guess my question would be is like how many wallows are in that area? Because over here you have wallows all over the freaking place, and it's just like, man, like where I'm going hunting this year over east, there's wallows everywhere, water everywhere, ponds
Mhm.
everywhere. It's like, dude, how do you narrow it
I
down?
I think so. I just from what we've seen, I think we've counted 15 wallows in that square mile.
Okay, yeah, that's a shit ton of
So
wallows.
there's a lot of wallows.
Yeah,
Every single wallow was getting used.
really.
Every single one. There was not clear water in any of them. There was mud from it might have been 2 days old, but there was mud thrown. Um, you know, there were some wallows. I have a Dodge 5500 with a 9 foot flatbed crew cab. We could have parked that truck in there and still had 4 feet on either side, front and back.
Really?
That's how big that wallow was.
Huh. Man, I might.
Massive.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a good bowl, I knew was using a spot, I might sit on it. I'm too ADD. I gotta go run around.
Dude, I'm right there with you. I love screaming at bulls, but we've kind of used the early season for deer too. You know, it's hot, it's dry. What are the
Hmm.
deer doing? They're going to bed early, right?
Right.
So, we're in our blinds 4, 3:30, 4 in the morning, waiting. And why would I be pushing deer around at 1 in the afternoon? They're already getting pushed by everybody else.
Right.
Let the deer relax and do their thing. My wife, she whacked 2 deer out of the same blind 2 years in a row.
Hmm.
And she whacked a deer, and then the very next year, 3 feet from where she shot that deer, she whacked another one.
I've never
The
hunted out of a
hill,
blind either.
the
I own
hill
one.
is, yeah. I own 6 blinds,
Wow.
and the hills are super steep where we deer hunt. It's mule deer country.
Hmm.
My wife has MS, so she doesn't get to walk a long ways. So we just put her up in those blinds anyway. And dude, she's been really successful.
That's awesome.
Now it sucks when she calls me and says, "Hey, it ran down." Like how far down? A long ways down. And you're just like, and then she
Oh
tells
boy.
you, "Hey, can you get it out whole?"
No.
And you're like, "Please no." And we've got pictures. I mean, one of the buxom wasn't a giant; it was just a really nice, respectful forked horn.
Hmm.
But we've got pictures and video of me with a full deer strapped to my exo pack.
Really?
and I am trek pulling it with sticks up a mountainside.
Jeez,
And it is not like, oh, hey, that's a cute mountain. It's like there's a mountain,
that
and I'm
sucks.
going straight up. I'm like, this is not fun.
You
I
won't
get back
catch
to
me
the
doing it.
truck. I get back to the truck. I'm ready to throw up, and she's like, "What's so bad?" I was like, we're not
We're
talking
not
right
talking.
now. I love you, but we're not talking right
Yeah,
now."
I love my wife, but she's not getting me to do that. There's no way in hell. She
You
killed a
know,
good buck this year, and for the first time, she actually packed out um, her own buck, and
oh,
I
nice.
packed out a lot of it, but I gave her the head and the back straps, and for 40 or 50
Yeah.
pounds, and she it was only 300 400 yards to the truck, but it was still like she got to feel the weight, and I think
Mhm.
you gain a little bit of appreciation for what somebody goes through when you have a dead meat on your back and you're packing it out,
Yeah.
especially with like an elk. Like I always think that elk meat you shoot tastes better than ones you don't because it just tastes better. I mean,
Dude.
the effort's there. So,
Mike's bull, I had the meat bag and a hindquarter on my back. The
oh
second day we have packing it out.
yeah, screw
And
that.
it was all downhill until like the last quarter mile to about 4/10 of a mile, and then it was straight up.
Hmm.
And I got about 3/4 of the way up, and I didn't know if I was gonna make it, Garrett. I literally like I've been hunting every single day since August. I have done all 3 Northwest Mountain challenges. I've done Camp Sherman. I've been to Anthony Lakes. Like I'm in shape. I
Mm-hmm.
got 3/4 of the way up there, and I did not know if I was gonna make it.
Oh, no.
I was just like, dude, and I don't know. I just took my trekking poles. I dug real deep, and I just kept climbing and climbing and climbing. And the
Hmm.
next thing I know, I was standing on the road, looking back down at the truck, going, "Finally."
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
I try to keep all my packs under 100 pounds. Like I do not go over 100. I will not. It's like a rule I have for myself because I feel like the
Yeah.
chance of myself getting injured is really high.
Hmm.
And especially when you're on steep ground and you have 90 pounds, 80 pounds strapped to your back. Like
Yeah.
if you go down the hill, you're screwed. Like I've almost
Hmm.
like you sit on a stump and then like I've almost gone back over sitting on stumps before because the pack's not sitting on the stump I am. So when you lean
Yeah.
back, it takes you off the mountain. I'm like, dude, if that was 100 pounds, I wouldn't have been able to hold it with my core. Like 80,
Yeah.
80 to 85 pounds, 90 pounds is like that's what I want my max to be is under 100 pounds. But
We were guessing I was probably 120, 130 pounds.
yeah, I bet. Yeah, because a lot of these
And
quarters we're killing on these bulls is a little over 80 pounds.
yeah.
80 to like my big bull last year was 80. We figured 87 pounds because when we weighed him when it was dried out a little bit and hanging, it was like 84. So we're
Yep.
thinking fresh, it was probably about 87. And then
Yeah.
that's a big hind quarter. Um,
Yeah.
but so anywhere between 75 and 85 pounds is probably what your average. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. And you guys are killing mostly Rockies too, right?
Yeah. It's all Rockies on the east side.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, all right, Mike. Well, why don't we give them your information, and we'll wrap this thing up here. So, if somebody wants to get a hold of you to register or talk to you or has some questions, how do they get a hold of you?
Yeah. So we have our emails on northwestmountainchallenge.com. And we also have Facebook and Instagram pages. I answer almost all the messages there. So if you send us a message, I'm usually within myself or Hillary usually within 10-15 minutes we're
Hmm.
we're back to you.
Awesome.
So we're
Okay.
pretty prompt. Um, any questions at all? Again, we have our emails up on our webpage. We have our emails up on our Facebook page. So you're more welcome to email us. And if it's something that hey, we need to talk about this over the phone, then we'll give you our number and you can call us that way.
Perfect. Okay. Mike, I really appreciate you coming on the show and giving me, an hour and a half of your time. I can't believe it's already been an hour and a half, but yeah, I appreciate it. And you guys, I've been to your shoot a couple times, as a lot of people know, and I really respect what you guys put on there. And I hope
Thank you.
that it goes as good as before it does before it did pre-COVID, because it was such a great event, and you guys do a really good job. So thank you for putting it on, and thanks for not letting COVID destroy you guys.
Yeah, I will say this: if you're going to shoot hoodoo on a Saturday this year, you better register like ASAP because there's almost no slots left.
So you guys have a limited amount of shooters availability, and you guys are bumping up
For a
against that.
yep, we're bumping against the pre-registration limited amount. Anybody else after that is going to be open shoot after 12 o'clock.
Dang it! And a lot of these
That's
guys they're at daylight waiting to get on and shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So, and when you go to register, if you have a registration time, say, at 10, like if you have a shoot time at 10 o'clock, we would like to see you in line to go get your stuff at like 9 o'clock.
okay.
So that way the guys that, they have an 8 o'clock shoot time and they're in line at 7:30, they're not bumping into someone that's got, well, I got a shoot time at 10.
Yeah, they're not competing.
Just be respectful for the other shooters that, hey, I don't have a shoot time till 10. I'll go get my stuff at 9. We have a practice range. You can practice all you want. You can shoot there all day. And then, hey, I got an hour till my shoot time. You can go grab your stuff. Or if you see the line has already died down, go grab your stuff.
Cool. Perfect. All right, Mike. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. And I look forward to hearing how it goes for you guys this year.
Yeah. Thank you, Garrett. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having us on.
Of course.